God's plan. God's plan. I hold back sometimes.
Alright, man. We back, and it's time to subtract decimals. You feel me? Math talk with Mr. Faison. Y'all know what it is. Check this, right? Y'all gonna thank me for this class. And y'all mainly gonna thank me because it has to deal with money. You know what I'm saying? We go to the store and stuff like that. We wanna make sure they ain't doing us dirty when we trying to get our change, right? So, but before we get started, you already know. You know, when it's time to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? It's time to get busy. Gotta throw these gloves on so they know we mean business. You know what I'm saying? Let's check it out. This is what we're working with today, y'all. We got 4 problems. Let's knock them out. You know, the first one we looking at, right? Now, when we talk about subtracting, something we have to do is we have to do some borrowing, right? It's almost like we subtract regular numbers, but it's just a different little twist to it. The only difference is we have decimals in there, right? When we see this first problem, we see that behind the decimal is 15, so it has 2 spaces. We want to make sure that behind the decimal over here, we have 2 spaces, all right? So, boom, I come there, all right? Now what I'm looking at is this. I have to borrow. This 0, I can't subtract 0 from 5. So I have to borrow from this 5. Boom. Now that 5 now becomes a 4. And that becomes 10. All right? 10 minus 5 is 5. Can you see that? Let's see. Let me make that 5 a little better. It's 5. Right? 4 minus 1 is 3. Oh, my marker started off, man. I'm at the. Oh, wow. We good. It's 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. We still bring this decimal down. All right, we bring that decimal down. Now, the thing is, right, we could just say 100 minus 98 is 2. We know that, right? But we need to work on our borrowing skills. So let's work on borrowing, right? I can't do 0 minus 98, and I can't do 0 minus 9. So I have to go over to the 1, right? It's like borrowing from your neighbor. This 0 went to this neighbor, and he was like, I don't got nothing. So you go to your next neighbor, the 1. We borrow from the 1, right? That now becomes a 0, and this becomes 10, right? But this 0 still needs help. So this 0 still has to go to this 10 to borrow something. So that becomes a 9, and this becomes 10, right? 10 minus 8 is 2. And then 9 minus 9 is 0. So it would just be 2.35. Now, as you notice, this problem is written out different than this problem. So what we want to do is we want to line them up. And we're going to line them up the same way we lined up addition, right? We got to line them up with the decimals in the same place. What do I mean when I say that? I'll just show you. So we got 8.5, right? We're going to line it up with a 6.074. All right, we want the decimal to be lined up. All right, so we want to subtract. Now we subtract. Now what are we doing? Behind the decimal, this has 3 spaces. I'm going to make sure there's 3 spaces behind this. It was just 1, so I have to add 2. 1, 2. All right. Now what do? I have to borrow. This 0 goes to his neighbor. They don't have anything either. So we have to go over to the 5 and borrow from the 5. This is now 4. So we get that 1 that we borrowed right here. But this one still needs to borrow. So we borrow 9, and that becomes 10. All right? Now we can start doing some work, right? 10 minus 4, 6, right? 9 minus 7, 2. 4 minus 0, 4. 8 minus 6, 2. And we bring our decimal right on down. So now we come to this next one. Let me stand on this. What we want to do, we have 25 and we have 10.984. This 25 doesn't have a decimal. So it's kind of like, what do? Do we just subtract? Do I just subtract 25 from 10 and then bring the 984 down? No. Nah, we ain't going to do that. We ain't even going to do that. What we're going to do is, even though we can't see it, we know it's a decimal right here. So you add your decimal, and then you add 3 zeros to fill in those places, right? So it's even. None of these have anything, right? So we have to go all the way to the 5 to borrow. I picked this problem because I think it's a good problem to show you in terms of borrowing, right? Come on. So We borrow from this 5 right here. This now becomes a 4. That one we borrow, we put right there. But all of these back here need help too. So I'm gonna borrow. That becomes a 9. This becomes a 10. That becomes a 9. This becomes a 10. Right? So we had to make sure everybody was good. Right? Now we got 10 minus 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 9 is 0. Got our decimals, bring the decimal right on down. Then we have 4 minus 0 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. All right? 14.016. All right? Hey, that's subtracting decimals with Mr. Faison on Math Talk. See you next time.
God's plan. God's plan.